The ICC B2 exam is an open book test, a format that creates a dangerous false sense of security. Most candidates walk into the room thinking the answers are easy to find just because they have the book on the desk. The International Building Code contains hundreds of pages of dense, technical language. Under severe time constraints, searching for every answer from scratch is mathematically impossible. Relying on rote memorization is a direct path to failure. The volume of material leads to information overload, and the clock runs out. Success requires mastering navigation, understanding the logical hierarchy, utilizing the index effectively, and following cross-references. Mike L. Turner's book, ICC Commercial Building Inspector Exam Prep B2, acts as an operational manual. It is designed to teach the code navigation skills you actually need. A targeted search strategy is vastly more valuable than a photographic memory. When the timer is running, your ability to locate data is the only thing that matters. The strategy starts with physical preparation. You must spend the time up front to tab individual chapters and highlight critical tables within your copy. This chart shows the difference in efficiency. A brute force search takes minutes per question, while a navigation strategy allows you to pinpoint the correct section in 30 seconds. The IBC is structured logically. It moves from general planning and occupancy in early chapters to specific materials like concrete and roof systems later. Candidates must watch for language traps. The code uses shall for mandatory rules, while exceptions provide the specific conditions where those rules do not apply. Cross-references are woven throughout the book. A requirement in one section often forces you to consult a different chapter to see the full scope. Understanding how the IBC is organized is the only way to accurately interpret its rules during a timed exam or inspection. Occupancy classification is the starting point for every regulation in the book. It dictates the fire risks, the required exits, and the structural limitations of the building. Small differences in occupancy subgroups can change the requirements. For example, the code treats an A1 theater differently than an A2 restaurant, and those distinctions dictate the structural limits of the space. Adding an automatic sprinkler system changes the math. This safety feature allows for a multiplier that increases the allowable building height and the total floor area. Calculating these limits requires mastering IBC tables 504.3 and 506.2, which translate the occupancy and construction type into specific allowable dimensions. In mixed-use buildings, the most restrictive occupancy rule generally governs the entire structure. Relying on field intuition instead of these rigid tables is a common mistake for test takers. Accurate occupancy classification is the mathematical linchpin for every safety requirement that follows. The focus then shifts downward to the foundation and the soil itself. It begins with soil bearing capacity, which measures the ground's supporting strength. Designing footings requires using the allowable bearing capacity. This is a conservative figure that includes a factor of safety, unlike the ultimate bearing capacity, which represents the point of total soil failure. Concrete strength is measured by FC, the specified compressive strength at 28 days of curing. This ensures the material can handle the heavy dead loads of the structure and the variable live loads of the occupants. To pass the exam, you must master laboratory testing standards from ASTM that field inspectors rarely perform themselves. ASTM, the American Society for Testing and Materials, sets the specific protocols for how these concrete samples are cured and tested. There are also strict rules for rebar placement and concrete cover. Proper spacing of the steel reinforcement is necessary to prevent tensile failure and long-term corrosion. Mastering these technical testing standards and soil mechanics ensures a foundation can withstand its design loads without failing. Looking at the building envelope, we focus on internal compartmentalization through the use of fire-rated walls. There is a legal and structural difference between these two. A firewall is self-supporting and must extend from the foundation through the roof. A fire barrier is often isolated to a single floor. Every penetration through these walls, like HVAC ducts or plumbing pipes, must be sealed with approved fire-stopping materials to maintain the integrity of the barrier. On the roof, an inspector must calculate complex load combinations. This requires evaluating dead, live, wind, and snow loads simultaneously to ensure the roof structure can handle the combined forces. A single unsealed penetration or a miscalculated load combination can compromise the life safety system of the entire building. Rote memorization of the IBC is a losing battle against time and the sheer volume of the code. This quadrant chart shows where to focus your study time. Code navigation and practice scenarios provide the highest impact for the least amount of effort. For the field veteran, this book translates years of practical construction experience into the rigid legal framework used by the IBC. For the novice, it provides the practice questions and real-world scenarios needed to make abstract code requirements understandable. The book is ICC Commercial Building Inspector Exam Prep B2 by Mike L. Turner. Success on the B2 exam depends on a strategic navigational mindset that allows you to extract answers flawlessly under pressure. The book, ICC Commercial Building Inspector Exam Prep B2, Study Guide with Code Navigation Strategies, Practice Questions, and Inspection Scenarios to pass the ICC Building Inspector Certification by Mike L. Turner, is available now on Amazon, and coming soon, narrated by Tom Brooks on audible.com.